Gun Shalom Akim, one give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the other apostles of great Millstone who teach and real well. And Shalom to the sincere Akim, spreading his truth and sincerity. Shalom. In this video, I want to go into this article, which is, going to cover, a earthquake, that has been predicted by the scientists to take place in the Cascadia Fault of the Pacific Northwest coast, and they estimate that it is going to be an earthquake of 9.0, which that is a very high magnitude considering an earthquake, which is going to leave a devastating trail of destruction behind it. We understand through the spirit that earthquakes are being mentioned in the scriptures as signs of the Most High visiting the earth, but also, that earthquakes will take place before the second coming of Yahawashi. So, I want to make this a quick video. I've been going over this topic quite a while in the last couple of months. So, it says the Cascadia Fault of the Pacific Northwest coast is poised for a massive 9.0 magnitude earthquake at some point, scientists say. A rupture that would propel a wall of water across much of the northwest coast within minutes. So they are already saying that this is something that's going to happen in the future. And that Cascadia Fault of the Pacific Northwest coast is situated, at the Ring of Fire, which the Ring of Fire is a region, upon the earth that is very well known for earthquakes and volcano eruptions. This is on the Wikipedia concerning the Ring of Fire, and it says the Ring of Fire, also known as the Pacific Ring of Fire, the Rim of Fire, the Girdle of Fire, or the Circum-Pacific Belt, is a region around much of the rim of the Pacific Ocean where many volcanic eruptions and earthquakes occur. The Ring of Fire is a horseshoe-shaped belt about 40,000 kilometers or 25,000 miles long and up to about 500 kilometers or 310 miles wide. It says the Ring of Fire includes the Pacific coast of South Africa, North Africa, and Kamchatka, and some islands in the western Pacific Ocean. Although there is consensus among geologists about almost all areas which are included in the Ring of Fire, they disagree about the inclusion of or exclusion of a few areas, for example, the Antarctic Peninsula and western Indonesia. So to give a quick glance concerning this location, this is what the Ring of Fire actually is, and the region that the article is going into is, situated somewhere over here, along the coast of North America. So it says low-lying coastal neighborhoods in Washington, Oregon, and Northern California will be under 10 feet or more of water, with the elementary school and ocean shores, Washington, facing an inundation that could be 23 feet deep. The second-floor refuge students rushed to their drill stands 13 feet off the ground in a structure that was not built to withstand a raging tsunami in the first place. So they're saying once this thing happens, it's going to create a tsunami, that can cause for 3 meters, around 3 meters of water in height. It even talks about 23 feet, which is about 6 meters, and 13 feet, where the students trying to take refuge during this drill, which is about 4 meters. So that's a big region as well that's being covered by this. Because if we go to this picture, it talks about the what is it? Washington, Oregon, and Northern California. So here we have Washington, Oregon, and then Northern California. And they say that quite a big piece of land will be submerged by this by the result of this earthquake. What this earthquake is going to bring to pass. But the thing is, this earthquake has not yet come to pass. But because they know that the Ring of Fire is a region that is well known for its earthquake, they can predict, with some bit of accuracy, where um, certain things might take place. It says the fact of the matter is that if a tsunami occurs tomorrow, we are going to lose all of our children, said Andrew Kelly, the superintendent of the North Beach School District, which includes Ocean Shores. Mr. Kelly is one of a growing number of local officials who are calling for a network of elevated buildings and platforms along the northwest coast that could provide an escape for thousands of people who might otherwise be doomed in the event of a tsunami. These people live on a coastal area. They want to build, concerning heights. You know, um, the scripture actually talk about that we're not really supposed to build buildings higher than a specific height. But what do they want to do? They want to create something that is going to surpass, you know, uh, um, the water that a tsunami would bring forth upon the land. That shows you that these people ain't right in their mind, man. You know, First and foremost, if you know that a region like that is at risk for tsunamis, why the why the heck would you start living there, man? That's playing with your life because, as the article is gonna say, these people are not prepared for that, and they don't have enough time to get to safety. But I digress a little bit. But it says the fact of the matter is that if a tsunami occurs tomorrow, we are going to lose all of our children. Um, yeah, yeah, so it says the fact of the matter is that if a tsunami occurs tomorrow, because here it says the same, said Andrew Kelly, superintendent of the North. Man, they put it double there. So it says, um, on Tuesday, voters in Ocean Shores and neighboring communities will decide whether to approve a bond measure that would, in part, build new vertical additions to schools, offering students and nearby residents a place to flee from a surging ocean. Scientists have been warning for years that another catastrophic quake could erupt at any time in the Cascadia subduction zone, a 600-mile-long megathrust fault that stretches from Vancouver Island, British Columbia, to Cape Mondocino, California. It says a quake from the fault, located roughly 70 miles offshore, could cause land along the shores to immediately drop by several feet. The sudden movement under the sea would send massive waves towards the shore, which that's talking about a tsunami. About recent tsunamis caused by earthquakes and volcanoes in the Pacific Rim have resulted in small surges on the west coast of the United States. Hours later, a Cascadia wave would arrive at shoreline within 15 minutes. Along many stretches of the northwest coast, there are no bluffs or high buildings to climb, and nowhere to go. So once this thing actually takes place, and they're forewarning that this is going to happen. Once this takes place, in the 15 minutes, man, a large piece of land is going to be hit by the tsunami, with a lot of people dying, man. And they even say that as of now, if that tsunami would occur tomorrow, that they're going to lose a lot of children, man. You see. It says the lack of evacuation options means that the death toll could be almost unfathomable, far surpassing any other natural disaster in United States history in Washington state, according to a 9.0 scenario the state uses for its estimates, about 70,000 people would likely be within the lowlands that could be engulfed by a large tsunami. And 32,000 of them would have no nearby high ground to escape within 15 minutes. So they say that, if I'm reading it correctly, that 70,000 people will be hit, and will be suffering due to what's going on. If this thing takes place. Of course, these things when they take place, are gonna overtake the wicked, because these things are created for the wicked unto destruction. But another good point that I want to bring out in this lesson is that nobody perishes innocent, man. Those children, they won't die, being innocent. We understand that, according to Job chapter 4 verse 7. And it says, "Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off?" So those children, they might look innocent, but through the Spirit, the Most High knows what they did in their past lives, and the thing that they're gonna suffer, in their present life was because of the fact that they was not innocent. So also another fact, if you see or you hear about, a child being abducted, certain things happened that they later found the body. That's just straight up judgment from the Heavenly Father, for the things that these people did in their past lives that we don't know and that we don't know anything about. Verse 8, "Even as I have seen they that plow iniquity and sow wickedness reap the same." So you're gonna reap what you sow. If you want to be a wicked piece of shit, you're gonna get the reward for being a wicked piece of shit. Whether it was in your past life or in this current life. Another good point that I want to make is the fact that this is going to bring a little destruction. To the Most High said that He was also going to bring destruction upon the earth. Different means. Of course, the famine is going to hit, which is going to be prophesied, which is mentioned in the scriptures as well concerning prophecy. Wars, rumors of wars, pestilences. Cities are going to be laid waste. All these things, all part of the greater scheme of the Most High. The grand plan that the Most High has for this earth. And even these earthquakes are part of biblical prophecy, man. This is 2nd Esdras chapter 9 verse 1. "He answered me then and said, Measure thou the time diligently in itself, and when thou seest part of the signs past, which I have told thee before, then shalt thou understand that at the very same time wherein the highest will begin to visit the world which he made." So by looking, towards the world occurrences of, that are taking place, that we can see through the news, the measuring through the scriptures, we understand that the Most High gave certain signs concerning the end times. And that's what we're bringing out as well. Verse 3. "Therefore, when there shall be seen earthquakes and uproars of the people in the world, then shalt thou well understand that the Most High spake of those things from the days that were before thee, even from the beginning." So when we're going to see earthquakes, which this lesson is talking about earthquake, and when we see uproars of the people in the world, and all the way since 2017, 18, 19, 2020, 21, a lot of uproars and protests have been taking place. So through those signs, we see that the Most High is visiting the earth which He made, and the fact is, these things have been written down, for over thousands of years, This is Matthew chapter 24, verse 6. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Right now we see that things are going on with Russia, Ukraine, America. Those are rumors of wars. The rumor is out there that something's going to happen. But we understand through the scriptures that, those people that claim to be Israelites, the Israelis, they're going to kickstart off something which is going to lead to the Third World War. Verse 7, for nations will rise against nation and kingdom against kingdom, and there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in diverse places. I recently, in this video I just mentioned, that we're going to hear about wars, rumors of wars, these famines, pestilences, but also these earthquakes that they would take place in diverse places upon the earth. This earthquake is taking place, along the Pacific Northwest coast, along the shores of North America. But there are also earthquakes taking place across the whole earth. Verse 8, all these are the beginning of sorrows. So if we see these things occurring upon the earth, know that these things are just the beginning of the bad time that is ahead of us. Just a shadow of things to come. A little bit of a taste of what the Most High is going to bring upon the earth. This is 2 Esther chapter 15 and verse 5. Behold, said the Lord Yahawah, I will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, famine, death, and destruction. The destruction is what I was talking about. The Most High is going to bring destruction upon the earth. Rawchaa, this earthquake really takes place. That this tsunami, is gonna rampage, across the state of Washington, Oregon, and North California. So it says, behold, said the Lord Yahawah, will bring plagues upon the world, the sword, which is talking about, people fighting with modern day weapons, which is the gun, the Third World War, race riots or class riots, wars, Salakia, basically, what we can see in the movie The Purge, famines, lack of bread, death, by different means, whether it's animals, pestilences, famine, tsunami taking place, earthquakes, destruction, destruction that's going to be upon this earth, wildfires, earthquakes, tsunamis, hurricanes, and eventually the Most High is going to bring, a great destruction upon the earth, by means of thermonuclear missiles, man. When Yahawashi comes back as well with the chariots, which shoot laser beams, there's going to be a lot of destruction in the near future. But going back to Matthew chapter 24, these things, were spoken about, that will be signs, concerning the second coming of Yahawashi. So that only shows you what time we're in right now. The Apostle, the heart of the Spirit, he named 2022 the year to turn up. And in my spirit, there's also another article on earthquakes as well. It talks about how South Carolina continues to reel from earthquakes, as 18 quakes have been registered since the beginning of 2022. 18 earthquakes took place in South Carolina. So when Elder Apostle Tahar, named 2022 the year of the turn up, to the Spirit, we, as a body, we brought out that the Most High is going to increase the things that He will do upon the earth concerning the prophecies, man. More earthquakes, more famines, more death, more destruction. This is Isaiah chapter 29 and verse 6. Thou shalt be visited of the Lord Yahawah of hosts with thunder, and with earthquakes, and great noise, with storms and tempests, and the flame of devouring fire. So what the people need to understand is that it's the Most High's doing that these things take place upon the earth. The thunders, the earthquakes, the great noise, the storms that rage upon the earth. It cause devastating destruction. The tempest, the flame of devouring fire, which goes into these wildfires. It's all the doing of Yahweh Bahasham Yahawashi. You see. So this video was edifying concerning the scientists that warn about the earthquake, that they expect to happen with a magnitude of 9.0 or higher. We understand through the scriptures that before the second coming of Yahawashi, the The Most High would visit the earth with earthquakes as well, as well as other things that the Most High would show: famines, pestilences, protests, uh, you know, uh, rumors of wars. You see, so there's Tazah, spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahawashi. I pray that this lesson be edifying. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Rawchaa, Qadash. Double honors to the other apostles who were at Millstone, who teach and rule well, and shalom to the sincere Akim, to furnish truth and sincerity.